to the Move with Purpose podcast, and today I am joined by the fabulous Jenica Leah. She is an author, publisher, global sickle cell advocate, non-profit leader, and all-round multifaceted bad girl. Jenica, welcome to the podcast.
I like that. Thank you.
We started a new tradition on the pod where we're going to start with a little bit of a game called Move with This or That. So I'm going to fire 10 kind of like statements at you, and you'll let our audience and listeners know which one you would go with to give us a further insight into the woman that you are.
Okay.
So the first one is, do you move in silence or do you move loudly?
Silence.
Fast moves or slow and steady wins?
Slow and steady wins.
Solo moves or team moves?
Solo.
Move with the flow or make your own lane?
Own lane.
Purpose first or passion first?
Oh. Oh, you got me there. Purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like the purpose is the passion.
Right.
Like the passion is there,
Yeah.
but it doesn't become anything unless you move with it. Otherwise, it's just going to stay passion. So I feel like purpose makes it become something.
Yeah. Nice. 1 bold moves or 1,000 tiny moves?
I'd have to say 1,000 tiny moves because I feel like that's what I've done.
Okay.
But I would love to like just do 1 bold move
And
then
you're
say,
there.
I'm
Right.
there.
Easier, innit?
Yeah, I feel like we all would, but yeah.
Planned moves or spontaneous?
These are hard.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh my gosh. Planned.
Okay. You're not a
Yes.
spontaneous doer?
I am absolutely a spontaneous person in my personal life, but in business plans.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Mindset moves or money moves?
Mindset.
Over money.
I feel like with the right mindset, the money will come.
We like that one. We love that one. And then the final one is move in faith or move in facts?
Faith.
Does your faith kind of like inform your decision making?
I feel like at every part of my journey, the faith has stepped in to make things possible.
Right.
There's no other reason why it could have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can you take me back to a moment in your childhood where you kind of knew you were destined to be a leader?
I mean, can I say from the day I was born? I don't know.
Of course you can.
My parents said I was born just like eyes open, nuts crying. I was just like, guys, I'm here. I've arrived. But if I'm to think of something that I can remember, I would say probably in secondary school. When I went from primary school to secondary school, all of my friends that I was close with in primary school didn't come to the same secondary school as me. So you kind of left to kind of navigate. Okay, there were still people that I knew, familiar faces, but I just felt like I was very different to the new crowd, which is my sisters now, I love them. But I feel like in that beginning stage, I was very different. And I kind of just said to myself, okay, well, I'm just going to do this. And I'm just going to do my own thing. And I think from then I just, I was like playing instruments and doing music and doing drama and play. Like I just did my own thing at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe your upbringing?
Isolated. Okay. Perhaps. I'd say isolated because of my health condition. But then I feel like I was one of the only girls amongst like boys in my family. Like I had a lot of male cousins and then it was just me. So I was always trying to like force myself to be rough, even though I wasn't like tomboy kind of. Yeah.
And you mentioned about your health condition. You're very much a global sickle cell advocate and speak really like loud and proudly about that. And it informs a lot of your work. When were you first diagnosed or were you born with it?
So I was born with sickle cell. It's a genetic condition. So anyone who has it will be born with it, but the diagnosis might come later. Okay. So children nowadays have a heel prick test and then about a couple of weeks after that, you'll get the diagnosis. Okay. So my parents found out 6 weeks after I was born that I had the sickle cell full blown, but they didn't know what that was. Yeah. And before they even were able to get like an understanding of what it meant and what might happen, I actually had my first crisis when I was about 6 months old.
Wow.
So that was a difficult time for them. And the only reason why anyone knew I was having a crisis was because my brother was in hospital at the same time. So my mum was managing him and passed me to a nurse so that she could do her mother duties for my brother. And the nurse was like, your daughter's like got a fever.
Wow.
So he was in one ward, I was in another ward with pneumonia. And that was like their introduction to sickle cell.
What do those crises look like, or what should parents be looking out for?
They vary from like children to adolescents to adults. So in children, you'll probably just notice differences in the child. Maybe they're less active, maybe they're more quiet. If it's a baby, maybe they have a different cry. My mum said that I used to have a different cry when I was in pain versus anything else. And I guess I'm not a mother, but I'm sure mothers will know, like you know your child. Fevers, tummy aches, swollen hands and feet in babies are like some of the most common symptoms, as well as jaundice. And then I guess when you get into your adolescence and you're going through puberty and all of that kind of stuff, it's just very, very painful. It's painful across the board, but there's a difference between, you know, the baby's crying and you're in pain versus a child telling you like they are in agony. And that just continues into adulthood. But along with that comes all the other complications, which I've had my fair share of.
How have you managed that, moving from like baby to child to adolescence to now adult? How have you managed like the different stages of crises, so to speak?
Gosh. You know, I feel like it's been my mindset. I think that's what's gotten me through at every step of the way. I know that at each point in my journey, like there are always significant points when I look back at my life where sickle cell was like, it got really serious. Like I might have grown up not knowing what it was and how it really impacted me. And I didn't think it was a big deal. I just thought, okay, every now and then I get really sick. If I can deal with that, then I'll be fine. Not knowing that there's this whole other long list of complications and ultimately fatalities that could happen. So I've gone from just not wanting to tell anyone and thinking it's not a big deal to then finding out that I had a stroke to then almost dying. Like at every level, it's like, okay, I have a different understanding of sickle cell, or I have a different relationship with sickle cell. And I think where I started to where I am now, I've just had to embrace it. And I feel like by embracing it and just accepting that, you know what, this is a part of me. I can't fight it. We're just going to have to learn to live together. That has enabled me to get to where I am now.
When would you say that shift happened from like fighting it to like fully embracing it?
Oh, COVID, 2020, yeah. I've had a number of different complications leading up to that point, and I was on like a good streak. Like I changed my diet. I was really more paying attention and in tune with my body. And then out of nowhere, I had an issue. So there's a bone problem that can happen in sickle cell, which is called a vascular necrosis. It basically restricts the oxygen from getting to your bones, particularly your hip and shoulder bones. Mine was in my hips. I had a hip replacement earlier when I was like 24. That was in 2014. And I thought, right, I'm good. And then in 2019, I was just driving one day and Lord God, mercy upon me, because I didn't make it onto the main road. I couldn't stop. I couldn't brake. It was like I slowly veered to the left and ambulance, everything. And it just suddenly out of nowhere, couldn't walk. And they were like, you need to have surgery. You need to do this. You need to... And it's like, just when you think you're past a certain point, something else happens. And that just was, I guess, the beginning of just so many other complications, to the point where they wanted to amputate my foot at one point. And I was just like, I'm not doing this no more, you know. I feel like there comes a time for me. I felt like at every point I had to make a decision where it was sickle cell or me. And I just chose me. I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. I stopped taking my medication. I said, I'm not going back to no hospital. I don't want no more appointment, no doctor, no nothing. I said, I'm going to Jamaica. They said, you're not fit to travel. I said, who's insuring me? Like, I was just done. And by choosing me and just focusing on me in that moment, sickle cell had no chance. Like, it was just, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
And in those moments where you've literally come like face to face with death, so to speak, what has been your relationship with God at this point?
For me, it's almost like a solace in knowing that, you know what, I know that the life I've lived has been the best that it could be. I know that I've done good. I feel like I'm at peace. And I think when you don't have that fear, you know that you're close. Do you know what I mean? You know that no one can interfere with that bond, and no one can question it or anything like that.
Have you ever been angry with God?
I don't think I've been angry. I think from quite a young age, I'm not really like a blaming person. I always try and look at why. And I used to say, like, I can remember being in hospital and they'd say, oh, you got to be admitted or you got to be this. And I'd say, oh, I can handle it. Because, you know, I wouldn't be going through it otherwise. So, yeah.
You spoke about you moved to Jamaica. So you moved to Jamaica in lockdown 2020.
Yep.
And you haven't looked back since.
No.
What was the like catalyst to that decision making that Jamaica is the place where I need to be to like support my healing and recovery?
So I always knew that I was not going to be in England. Like, grateful as I am that I've got this country and I have my little passport that can take me certain places. I do not love England. And we used to go to Jamaica every year. Like, I'm really connected to Jamaica. Both my grandparents are Jamaican. We used to go every year. My dad's parents came over and went back.
Right.
So as returnees, we got to go back with them as grandchildren. So we had everything over there. Our bikes got sent over, board games, like everything.
Yeah.
And I can remember every single time I left Jamaica, I would cry. From I was young all the way up until I was an adult. I would go on holiday with my friends. I said, I'm not doing a country life. I'm going to the hotel. And I can remember leaving the hotel and I'm like, why am I crying? The tears are coming to my eyes. It was like England was like this holiday that I never wanted to be on, and I actually just wanted to go home.
I can relate.
So I think I always knew I was going to leave. I wouldn't necessarily say it was going to be Jamaica.
Okay.
I did, like, I've been to Nigeria, I went to Gambia.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to be somewhere where there was more of like my people. And I was very close to going to Gambia, and I just said, let me just take one more trip to Jamaica. And I was like, I'm not leaving. That was it.
And what does home look like there compared to over here? Like, what are the differences for listeners that are thinking, I'm resonating with what she's saying. I don't feel like home in the UK, and even me, I'm resonating.
Yeah.
What is the big difference between home in Jamaica and here?
If I was to summarize it in one word, I would say community, because you know that saying, like, it takes a village.
Yeah.
Jamaica is still very much like that. Like, where my grandparents lived, everybody from this road going all the way up to our hill, like, everybody knows everyone. You are, sister, Gregory, granddaughter. Like, even though they haven't seen me for a whole year, they just look at you and they just know. And there's small things that even when I come back, like I'm back now, just something as simple as I went to the supermarket and somebody was just like, you hold eye contact with someone. Yeah. So I'm like, good afternoon, because we're raised like that in our household. You see anybody, it's manners. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. Yeah. As they'll say in Jamaica. So anytime you could be sitting in a bank in Jamaica and someone will walk in and say good afternoon to everybody that is in the bank. That is just manners. So I'm in a supermarket in England, someone's looking in my eyes, I'm looking theirs, I say good afternoon, and they are just looking at me like I'm speaking a different. Yeah. And I'm like, see, this is why I don't like this country, because like those little things just really make me feel like I miss home. Like, this place isn't home, because why? And you know, we can walk down certain streets in England where you might see another black person, and if you say hi to them, they're gonna say hi back, even if they don't initiate it. But it's just not home. It's not home.
What would you say, moving back, what difference has it made for your health?
everything. I feel like moving back home to Jamaica gave me life.
I love that.
When I decided to leave, I literally felt like I was just surviving. I wasn't living. Everything I was doing was just to survive. And that's not even just from my perspective, but even I feel like from a medical perspective as well. Yes, I have sickle cell. We're so blessed to have the NHS.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes when you have access to these things so easily, everything's just like that. So we're going to give you this tablet because it's going to do this. And oh, that tablet caused this. We're going to give you this, and that caused that. We're just going to give you this. Like everything is just to, it's just to make you survive. It's just to keep you alive. But what life are you living? I was constantly on drugs. I was on steroids. I was on morphine. Day to day, I didn't want to live like that. So for me, I was just like, if this is what it's going to be like, I am prepared to go home. And whatever time I have left, everybody needs to know Jen was happy at the end because she was at home. The sun was shining. She had good food, good people around her. Like, that's just what I wanted the rest of my life to be. And I didn't know it was going to be another 5 years, but here we are.
And you got no plans to come back, it sounds like.
Absolutely none whatsoever.
Not interested.
No, I'll just pop in and pop out as I do.
I want to move on to talk a little bit about you as an entrepreneur and my friend Jen. So my friend Jen is the first time I hear about the great work that you're doing. I remember seeing the book be published on like social media a number of years ago now, and I was just like, wow, like you actually inspired me to write my children's book as well. I know you didn't know that, but you know now. So where did my friend Jen come from? What was it inspired by, and what was the journey to writing the book?
So we touched on it earlier where you was asking what has my relationship been like at every step of the way.
Yeah.
And when after having my hip replaced, which was in 2014, I kind of felt like I had a new lease of life. I wasn't constantly taking painkillers because of the pain of my hip. And I just thought, right, this is going to be a fresh start.
Yeah.
And I also, at that point, looking back, realized how much other complications sickle cell could come with. And I just felt like if I understood sickle cell a bit more when I was younger and had a different relationship with it, I don't feel like I would have had the experiences that I'd had up to that point. So I wanted to create something that would give the younger generation or children that were being born with sickle cell confidence to actually speak about their condition. And kind of motivate them to know that, you know what, even though I have sickle cell, I can still do everything that I want to do. Like nothing can stop me. Because at that point, I just felt like, right, I am unstoppable now. But I'm not taking no medication. Like, listen, you'd be how those medications like slow you down. I just was like, go, go, go. So that was literally like the first book, a little different. It was like, you know, there's nothing that my friend Jen can't do. She's just a little different to me and you. That was it. I just wanted children to know, like, yes, you have sickle cell. You might be a bit different, but you can still travel. You could be whatever you want to be. You can go wherever you want to go. It doesn't have to limit you.
Yeah. Did the book, was you an entrepreneur before you wrote the book, or did it open the doors for like more things and projects that you birthed afterwards?
I feel like I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit without even knowing that. I don't think I knew the term entrepreneur, even before that. I can remember like leaving secondary school and like going into college. There used to be this test that you would do. So it would tell you like what you were good at to try and help you decide what courses to take at college and then to go on to uni.
Yeah.
And I remember doing those, that test, and I was good at everything. And the woman was just like, well, you could do what you want. Like, you're good at maths, but you're good at performing arts, but you're good at business, but you're good at... And I was just like, this doesn't help. Like, it's like I've always just been doing everything. But my journey has been very different. So I didn't go to university, mainly because of my health. College was just a struggle for me at that time because I was going through a lot of complications with my sickle cell and missed a lot of college. So I just about scraped through with that. I also started modelling from when I was in school. So I had that kind of as a career. So I was like in London with my A to Z because we never had Google Maps them days there, highlighting where I had to go for like my castings and my shoots, and travelling. And then I got the opportunity to work for it was an events company, but they planned fashion shows in like iconic locations around the world. So it was like, do I just get a job or do I do this? So I did that. So I would work like 3 months, be home for 2 months, go away for 3 months again. So I've always kind of just had a very like non-traditional like career, so to speak. And I think in those roles, I kind of picked up certain things like you modeling, even though I didn't like being the model part, but I used to find it interesting being around the photographers and like the person who was doing the logistics. I used to pay attention to that stuff. Again, doing the fashion shows, I was like the event manager. So you're dealing with like, you know, logistics again, staging, location. Like I just picked up lots of these things and I guess they just came in handy later on in life.
So you are just super multifaceted in all ways.
I am.
What is your strongest skill set in the midst of being multifaceted though?
I would say speaking and also like organizing or managing stuff. Like I love, give me an event, I've got it. I'm just putting everything together. I'm getting everywhere. I wouldn't do everything. Like I'm good at kind of delegating and things like that.
Nice.
But that's what I enjoy.
What has been your most favorite business project to date?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like Conversations with Jen, which is
the YouTube series.
My YouTube series, yes. That was something. As I said, I love to chat. I feel like I'm really. I don't know if I'm good at talking, but I like to talk.
Yeah.
And I also like to watch like other things. Like I like watching podcasts and listening to audiobooks and things like that. And I just love giving people the opportunity to share their experience and express themselves. And I think particularly because the topic is always about like people's experience or connection with sickle cell, I feel like it's a different platform for people to gain like a level of understanding and also highlight the differences. Because I feel like a lot of the times someone might know someone that had sickle cell and they'll say uncanny things like, oh yeah, my cousin had sickle cell, they died. It makes people seem like that's the life of someone with sickle cell. So giving people the platform and the opportunity to share, it also allows me to learn as well, because I only know what I know. So the more I speak to people, the more I hear other stories, I feel like that helps me in my advocacy as well. Because if I'm in a room or I have a seat at a table and these, I don't know, big pharma companies and consultants and management companies, they want to make a decision, probably that might work for me, but I've heard someone else's story and they've explained that something like that is not practical for them. So it enables me to bring the community to the room. It's not just about me as well. So I feel like that's like my favorite project, because I'm always learning. I'm always finding out something new, and I'm being able to share it with the world as well.
And what's the next like stage for those conversations? Where would you like to see it go?
I want to see it go global, like me. I did do a couple of episodes in Jamaica, which was really good. I would love to be able to bring it around the Caribbean.
What does that look like?
Just every other Caribbean island. My main reason for doing that is because within like my roles and the advocacy that I do on a global level, I go to these conferences or I'll be at these meetings, and I feel like I never hear the Caribbean experience of sickle cell. I hear the experience from Africa. Nigeria has the highest prevalence of people living with sickle cell. Then you've got the DRC. So you hear that experience. Even like India is one of like, I think the third highest prevalence of it. So you hear that experience. Mediterranean, even Europe, like I'm the president for the European Sickle Cell Federation. There's a community there. I don't really see the Caribbean in these global platforms, apart from one professor who I love her, she's amazing, but she's like the only person that I will see present a study on their newborn screening or whatever it is that they're developing. And I'm like, where's the patient experience from the Caribbean? Because sickle cell's been there. So I'd love to bring Conversations with Jen around the Caribbean, so then I can start that off, I guess.
So you've got another company called JLG Publishing. Speak to me about why you launched that. And is that a for-profit or non-profit?
So JLG Publishing for profit. That was actually the first company that I launched. So when I wrote my children's book, I initially wrote it with the hope to get it traditionally published, and for a good number of months sent it out to publishers, literary agents, went along that whole journey, and it just was not happening. I think ultimately they didn't see a need for the book, which I'm so grateful for now, because royalties are amazing and they're all yours.
Yeah.
But so I ended up publishing the book myself. So I self-published the book. But when I was doing my research into publishing and what works, you've got Amazon, which is a free platform. They can give you everything for free, but they almost own the book. So at that time, if I wanted to print the book, I'd have to go through, everything would have to be through Amazon, and I just didn't want Amazon to own my thing. So I did some research, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to set up a publishing company and then publish my book through that. And that was the initial plan. After publishing my book, it then, I guess, inspired a lot of people to think, hey, you know, how did you do it? I want to write a book as well. Can you help me do it? So I was like, sure, so let's do it. So I just kind of became like a publishing consultant, or whatever you want to call it, and kind of gave some people advice on a couple of things. I did a couple of events where I'd share like my experiences, my learnings. So I helped people to publish their own books. Then I met one lady who said, okay, I've got an idea for a book. I don't want to do anything. I just want you to do everything for me. And
she didn't want to write it either.
She wrote it, but that was it. She's like, I don't want to print. I don't want you to tell me what to do. I just want you to do it. So me, little event girl, like I like to do things. I was like, okay, cool. So I started setting up some packages, and then next thing I know, JLG Publishing. So I used to offer publishing packages, support people with self-publishing, printing, and then consulting as well. Now so that was my bread and butter for a number of years. And I think what happened was when COVID happened and everyone started to work remote, all of my non-profit work that I was doing through the CIC, my friend Jen, sort of got amplified online. And, you know, suddenly you don't have to fly to a country, you can just join a Zoom. So everyone started to think, oh my gosh, you do this, you've done this. And then all of my non-profit work started to pick up. So I had to close my diary for like a period of time, and it just kept being closed and closed. So every now and then I guess if people know me personally, if they reach out directly, I'll be like, sure, I'm happy to help. But I haven't been able to pick that back up yet. And I don't want to do it like half-heartedly. I'd really, if I'm going to help someone with a book or work on like their baby or their project, I want to be able to do it 100%. So I'm still uncertain where I'm going to go with that. Maybe I'll have to do some like, I don't know, like a full day course or something like that. I'll have to.
Or turn it into digital IP, and then people can learn from something you've
There we go. Just do like an online course or something. Absolutely. That was an idea, but I've the time to sit and record it. It's just, but it's still there, and it's I still do prints, and we still do.
Is it just the one book you've written, or do you have?
No, so there's 2 books in the series of my friend Jen.
Okay.
And then underneath kind of like the JLG Publishing, like our publishing umbrella, let's say, with like ISBN numbers and stuff, I feel like we've probably got about 22 books.
Sick.
So, yeah.
And just for numbers, for those that are thinking about getting into publishing or writing a book, how does it work with royalties if you have published the book yourself?
So I published the book myself. That means that I have all the printing rights. So essentially, whatever you sell the book for, minus your printing costs, everything will be yours. So if I use my book for an example, sell the book for $5.99 or $6.99, and then you, depending on how much you print, I'll do like 1,000 or 2,000 at a time because it's still in demand. But the more you print, the cheaper it becomes per book. So you probably I'm looking at like less than £1 per book. So at least £4 or £5 of that is mine for every book that sells.
And does your book sit on Amazon, or do you send globally?
Oh no, it's on Amazon. Amazon can take for ease and for time, I don't mind the book being on Amazon because it means that more people can access the book, you know. But when it comes to like bulk orders, people will always go directly to either the publisher or they'll come to me because I'm the author. So when it comes to like hospitals or like charitable organizations that want to like buy a bulk of books for their community or for their children, they're buying in like the hundreds or whatever, then, you know, they're just going to come directly to me. So I get the cost from that.
For those watching that are thinking about writing a book, what's your number one piece of advice?
Write it.
Get out your own way.
Literally write the book. I speak to so many people and they just think about it and they've got ideas or they're not sure. Just write the book. Get it down. And I feel like once you have it out and done, you're then more motivated to bring it to life.
I remember writing my first book when I was in my first year of university, and I used to spend my lectures writing because the lectures were just dry. I was studying teaching and half the lectures were just nonsense. I knew I was going to pass anyway. So it's like, I'm here just to tick a box. I might as well make use of the time I'm here sitting down. So wrote that book while I was in university and published it soon after I graduated. But for me, I just felt like the book was going to outlive me. So the whole reason of writing a book for me is like legacy. It's something that my children's book that I wrote, I now see my daughter reading it and it's like, it's full on legacy in its best format. So those that are thinking about writing, exactly what you said, write it, get out of your way, leave a legacy because the book will outlive you.
It absolutely will. And also it's being a part of history. I feel like traditional publishing had this kind of like energy of like, oh, like a sense of importance of like, you know, this person deserves to have a published book, but this person doesn't. And we're in the day and age now where anyone can write and publish a book and you can have it there. Your book might even not be a big seller. Like, I don't like when I see this happen, but sometimes I feel like while people are living, some things are not worth what they are. But once they pass on, they suddenly become very valuable. And sometimes things can be an asset, an investment, you never know, or just a legacy for your family. Like, you know, this was Auntie's, this was, for me, my case is Auntie Jen, like it's Auntie Jen's book. And for young children as well, if you're writing a children's book or any type of book, you're giving that generation something to aspire to. Because when you think about them, they're in school, they're reading books. You go to college, you read books. Until you understand how to write and publish a book, being an author is a big thing. 100%. So for children, that's like, yeah, man, I'm an author.
Speaking a little bit about your entrepreneurialism, obviously you said the for-profit company kind of slowed down as your non-profit
grew.
What does social entrepreneurship look like to you?
It looks like hard work with a capital H.
With little return.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You really have to be passionate. You have, like we had that, gave me that quick fire question. I feel like you really have to be passionate to do it. Yeah. And also if you feel, for anyone that thinks that non-profits are profitable or like, I'm going to do this and it's going to make a lot of money, it doesn't start like that at all.
Absolutely.
It's a very slow burner. That's why I said like slow and steady. And then for me, I would say it's a lot harder because my non-profit is, of course, because of the condition that I have. So everything I do, it's almost like me. So sometimes it's difficult when you want to provide a service for other people that are going through the same condition that you're living with. Yeah. Every now and then I have to remind myself, I am also one of the people that need the services that I'm trying to provide or that I want to provide. So you have to find a balance. But I think that's the passion is what keeps me going.
Yeah. What's been your biggest pain point in building a social enterprise? Just
people caring.
Okay.
And I say that because I wrote my children's book, back in 2016, so it's almost 10 years now. I launched a non-profit not long after that. And I know that people know, like even in my inner circle, my friends and stuff, they know what I'm doing. Yeah. They know I have sickle cell. But in 2023, I did a gala, the Progression of Sickle Cell Gala, and I invited people that I know, local businesses, community leaders, all sorts of stuff. And after doing that event, the amount of people in the room that were like, I see you online, but I had no idea. And being able to get people to care about something that doesn't concern them is so difficult. And then not only do you want them to care about it, but at a certain level, you then want people to care enough to give you money to be able to sustain what you're doing. So it's really difficult. And if you're someone who is not doing it for the right reasons, it can perhaps even sometimes make you want to, like, it can make you kind of feel a certain way about certain people or this, you know, like, but you have to just stay focused and stay grounded and just know that whatever it is that you're doing, you know, I'm passionate about it, but the purpose is what is going to, you know, that's what keeps me driving to do it. So, yeah.
How is the organisation funded?
So it's funded, at the moment, we're funded by Big Pharma, community, like local communities, and also just like independent people. So like donors, then let's just call them, who are like people like you and me. There are so many people that I meet, and this is why I feel like your personal brand and like how passionate you are about something, it really helps in this world, because everywhere I go, I speak about it. I went to Jamaica and started chatting about, yeah, man, I've got a sickle cell, I've got a charity, and Little did I know that the person I was talking to was like the hotel owner's personal assistant.
No way.
So that turned into something. Do you know what I mean? So you never know who you're speaking to, and people can see your passion when you're speaking about something like that. So I feel like it's funded in different ways, but ultimately those are the main things. It's like people and a balance of pharma. And I'd like to have that balance. I feel like I would be a little bit hypocritical to just have like only drug companies funding an organization, especially from the experience that I've had with kind of like, I don't know, my personal relationship with those companies and stuff. So yeah.
For anyone watching that's thinking about setting up a social enterprise, what would be your advice to them?
Think about it long and hard.
Don't
do it. I'd do it.
Yeah.
But okay, before doing it, here's one thing that I would say. If you are passionate about the cause, see if there's a way that you can support the cause without setting up your own organization, because it is not easy.
Yeah.
So before I even became a non-profit, I had my children's books and that was just a thing, but I volunteered at the Sickle Cell Society. I was a youth mentor for many years at Oscar Birmingham, which is a charity that's based in Birmingham that supports people that live with sickle cell and thalassemia. So I was a giver and a doer before I even set up my organization.
So you know how to serve.
Exactly. Yeah. And the only reason why I set up the organization is because I met people along my journey who wanted to do specific things that I would always try and drive through other organizations. But there's a level of transparency that donors like to see. Like, if I'm going to give you money, I want to know where that money's going. It's very different to a big pharmaceutical company saying, oh, you want to do this project? Here, take it, give us a report after and let us know how it went. When there's a personal interest attached to it, we want to see the outcome. And so if you're not running an organization, or you can't really dictate how funds are spent, sometimes people don't want to help, or they just might not want to give. So again, because of the way that I'm passionate about it, people wanted to give to me to be able to do something. That was how the YouTube series started, actually.
Someone people just you being
it's me. It's not necessarily, it is the condition, but they know that I'm helping, but ultimately it's you, people buying to you as the brand, right? So I would advise people that if they're like, do your research and see if there's some way that you can give first or support first, rather than setting up your own, because especially if it's a condition like sickle cell, it's largely underfunded and it is largely under-researched. So if you set up another organization, essentially you're all going for the same pot of money.
Yeah.
So how much are you really going to be helping?
Super competitive as well, right?
Absolutely. So if there's a way that you can help or support another organization first, I would say do that. And trust me, it will save you a lot of tears and sweat,
time, money, and
time
resources,
and energy and everything, because it's not as easy as it looks.
Speaking of the funding landscape, Eloquence is a social enterprise, and I've found that in the past decade of like building a non-profit, our position with like funders and donors has changed. So initially it's like, okay, you go for certain things and you're advocating for why you should get it. And now I'm like, the funders need to advocate for why they should fund the work.
Absolutely. That's
because it's literally, you get to a stage where you're like, our mission and our work speaks for itself now. Why are we begging for the little pounds? Like, you are privileged to work with us.
Girl, you see, like, when you feel like you're begging for something, when it's clear, you can clearly demonstrate the impact. And also, like, the positive, like, it's positive things. Like, look at, when you do these apply for these fundings, sometimes you have to deliver reports and say, like, right, what was the difference? How did it? Tell me about it. But when you do them, I feel like when you do the first one, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? But actually, as a non-profit, you would know. Eventually, you realize, no, I actually have to do these because I want to measure the impact as well.
For sure.
So when you can actually show that, no, I want to be saying no, or even being like, actually, I don't want your money. I like them, like you
being
right.
in a position to say no. And I feel like a lot of social entrepreneurs that potentially come into the space don't realize the power that they have to say no, and don't realize the power that they have to actually navigate the funding landscape with a different mindset, rather than being like, oh, let me really like champion for what I'm doing. Yes, you can, but also be selective in who should fund your work, because they're privileged to attach their brand or organization with what you're doing.
And also understand your value and your worth. I feel like even within this space, maybe if for like patients, for example, who are living with sickle cell, even if you're not part of an organization, some of the funders need patients. For people to develop new treatments, they need patients. And they have a very canny way of making it seem like, oh, we're going to give you this, and you can come here and you can go there and fly here. But after you've done all of that and the energy's burnt out, and what's left?
What's left for me?
So it's also about people. This is something that I share a lot within like the community, people that I mentor. Know your worth. Like, they actually need you more than you need them.
Absolutely.
So you have to know that and be like, actually, no, this is what I want. Or even if it is an organization, I want this and I want it. This is how I want it and this is how it's going to be. So you've got to be tactful about it.
How do you safeguard your well-being? How do you put yourself first?
Time out, rest. Like, rest is a day, like it's a work day for me. Like, it's blocked off. I'm
in
busy.
The diary.
I am busy resting. For me, it's more serious, because I know, like, burnout for me isn't just, oh, I'm burnt out, I'm so tired, I need a spa day. It's like, can't walk, can't even prepare a meal, can't bathe myself, like, in pain. It's a big difference. Like, 5 years ago, it was in hospital for how many weeks? So I've realized that sometimes it's important. It's better to take a pause than to go all the way and think I'll rest at the end. Because in my case, I never even used to make it to the end. So I have to take the pauses in between and prioritize them. Like, phones off, you're not going to hear from me. And that's it.
How far ahead do you plan for rest?
It depends on how busy the schedule is. So, like, in this trip, I've got my planned week. So even though I guess people know I'm here because of my posting, but I'll like delay posting by a week. So, like, I've been here for a while, but people only know that I've been here to like probably
this
today.
Week,
just to give myself that leeway. And then I will also, if I know I've got a busy month, like June is World Sickle Cell Day, so it gets really busy, I'll have to like think, okay, if that's then I'm gonna have to sleep those 2 days. I actually have to like map it out. I do seriously do that. If I don't, I will just kind of keep going. And I never like to get to the stage where I feel tired. I want to be like, oh, today's a rest day. Because by that time it's too late for me.
I need to take inspiration from that, because you mentioned about being on like the hamster wheel. I am the hamster wheel. And I am the hamster wheel. And the big slap in the face for me, excuse me, was just becoming a mom and knowing that you can't be on the hamster wheel because you're just going to be constantly tired anyway. So you're full-time working regardless of just being a mom of two. So now that you have to work aside of that, the hamster wheel was definitely me. So doing those planned rests, and it was a business mentor, shout out Daniela, that said this to me, put your days of rest into the diary. Diarise them. Yep. Otherwise, other things jump into the calendar and take over. So I'm learning those practices. So thank you for that. What would you say is next for Jenica?
Oh, I think expanding the nonprofit. Yeah. I definitely want to expand. We're planning to open or set up a branch in Jamaica for the Caribbean. For the reasons that I've mentioned, I feel like the Caribbean voice is not really in the spaces where I am and I want it to be. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to be able to bring people on board with that.
What does that look like?
Oh, it looks like, it looks like Jamaica, so it looks like the Caribbean, so, it's nice, sun, sea and sand. But also, it's going to be research. It's going to be change. Like, I'd like to be able to make a difference. Okay. I feel like the difference that I make here is probably more in awareness and making people pay attention. But I feel like the difference that I can make in like the Caribbean, for example, would more be like on management and kind of utilizing what is already on the ground. Like one of the things that I absolutely love about being in Jamaica and I feel like has helped me to survive is literally just being in nature. Okay. Like I don't take medication because I'll pop a bush tea or I'll drink this herb or, there's the people don't realize that they are surrounded by what they need and they're looking to the West and thinking, I want this medication, I can get access to this and I can get access to that.
Which is man-made.
Exactly. And yes, I'm not taking like that away from them. Everyone should have access. Like health equity is so important. Everyone should have access to treatments and medications. But there is a way to manage the condition in such a more holistic way. And I would love to be able to just show everyone that, you actually have everything that you need to survive and live a life. Not just,
Wow, I love that. Jenica, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We have a tradition on the podcast where we wrap up and you're going to give, I'm going to ask you to leave our listeners with like a key takeaway that they can move with purpose in their lives going forward.
Okay, so my key takeaway would be don't just live every day like you're on a hamster wheel, like you're just surviving. Actually live. I feel like the term YOLO only seems fit when you're on holiday or you're going to do something crazy. But actually life should be like that because tomorrow is not promised. So if today was your last day, do you feel like you would be at peace with where you are? If not, then make sure you're preparing so that tomorrow you're going to make that last day be your peace.